I'm Susan. Welcome to Tea and Games. The tea today is Yorkshire Gold. It's been a while since I filmed and we've got new subscribers. Hi to new subscribers. I'm glad you're here. If you are not familiar with me, I'm Susan. My husband is Robert. He doesn't appear on the videos, but he and I are casual weekend board gamers. And I sit around and chat with y'all about board games. So as I said, it's been a while. I did play Christmas games. I think the last thing I talked to y'all about was Christmas games. And there is one in particular that I wanted to mention. I did play Final Girl, the one with Krampus, and yes, Mrs. Claus did not end well. But we've been playing a lot of Jokkmokk, the Winter Market, which is a new-ish game. This game is interesting because it's got a whole bunch of different card sets. And I will get to our end-of-year statistics, but I wanted to show you this. Because it is a winter market, so that would mean that this game, I think, would still be seasonally appropriate for this time of year. Here is the game board. I don't know if you can see, but there are little slots around the edges, which is where you put the card sets. There are a lot of different card sets, and there are a lot of different ways you can put the sets together to get different effects. Generally speaking, you have like one basic set of cards and those have a certain color, and then there's like another set of cards and they have a certain color, and then there are the special cards and they have a set of colors. And generally speaking, what you do is you have two sets of each of those types. Like the red. See the little red icon up at the top? And I don't have my finger in the right spot. There we go. That is candy. And by the way, for the candy cards, you are counting the icons right here on the card, not the point value up here at the top for scoring. This one you see has a blue icon at the top. These are antiques. Some of them have more than one tea kettle on them. These are considered special cards because they got the purple up here at the top, and these are friend cards, but there are a lot of different sets, and you're going to play with 6 sets per game, and there's a lot of sets. And I mean, even within each category of basic, middle, special, there's still a lot of sets. So the total number of completely unique sets, unique combinations of sets that you could play in a game, sort of defies my math. There are day cards and there are winter cards, and some of the cards have mid-game scoring before you go from day to night, but most do not. Have a nifty little marker to mark going around the board. You go around the board as far as you want to and take cards and try to make combinations or sets. The different sets score differently. Some of them will give you special powers, like the special ones of the set, and then some of them you are collecting icons on the cards. Some of them you've got to lay the cards out in a tableau in front of you in a certain configuration. So what you're doing with the different sets of cards depends upon the set. And the sets sometimes interact with each other in interesting ways. So this is a fun little game. It is a family weight game. You're not going to break your brain on it, but you will have a lot of fun. It's just an interesting, fun, and enjoyable game, and we have been playing it a lot. For one thing, we had to play it several times just to be able to have seen all of the different card sets in action, though how those card sets work might have been different depending upon what other sets we played with. So yeah, we are enjoying this. Rodney over at Watch It Played has a how to play video for this, which I will put down below. I think I may have mentioned this in the previous video on Christmas games. We have also been playing a lot of Winter Carcassonne this winter. And those are a couple of the seasonal games I really wanted to mention before I get into the end of the year. And I'm doing this a little bit differently. I'm actually going to be looking at my phone. And I feel like I ought to apologize for that because I'm looking at my phone while I'm doing a video. Though I know a lot of content creators, use their phones as teleprompters or whatever. I usually don't. So the end of year stats. I use Board Game Stats, the app. And you can see my little stats there. I use the Board Game Stats app, and I highly recommend it. I also got the tagging expansion for the app because it basically allows you to create user-generated lists. Like I tag things that are seasonal games. I have a tag that I put there for games that we play with my family. So, it's that kind of a thing. I will tag games that are solo games because there are ways you can sort by players, but I just find that if I have a tag that says solo, it'll come up really quick. So I use BG Stats, and a lot of people do. January, the insights for, according to this, I had 326 plays of 111 games, 63 of which were new to us. And that number seems just like really high to me. For weekend board gamers, I'm sort of surprised that we got numbers that big. But you got to remember, and this is something that I pointed out when people were sharing their banner for BGE Stats, is that the games that are going to come up like in the little graphic here, and also a lot of those plays are going to be not the best, most fantastic, most wow, knock my socks off games of the year. They're going to be the shortest, fastest, lightest games we can play because those are the ones we play the most because they don't take very much time to play. But that number looked really high. And so I got to looking at it without the graphic, and that is for 2024, and that is all games. So that includes games played with family and friends that may not actually be our own games. And that also includes games we played, and we don't have anymore because we culled them. I don't think that there are too many games that had like a 1-year turnaround, like we got rid of them the same year we got them. I can only think of one right off the top of my head, but nevertheless, when I toggle to owned games, the numbers go down a bit. We have 319 plays, that's several less, of 106 games, 60 of which are new to us. And that's still a pretty big number, though nowhere near as big as professional content creators. And for those of you who are new, I am not a professional content creator. There are a lot of good professional content creators out there, and they will tell you how to play the games, but that's not what I do. I'm sorry if that's what you tuned in for. Now, sometimes I will take out a game out of the box, lay it out on the table, and really get into the weeds of what is going on in this game. I do that occasionally, but it's not like I sit down and grind out a how to play video every week or anything. Mostly I just chat about games and give you my general impressions of them. Maybe point out a couple of things that nobody seems to have mentioned that you probably should know before you decide whether or not you get the game. But I don't get any free stuff from publishers. There's no promotional material here, so what you see is what you get. You don't have to necessarily worry about my impressions of a game being influenced by the fact that it was free, because it wasn't. Let me see here. According to this, the games played represent 25% of my total owned games. I think that percentage was higher last year, but then last year Let me see if I can do it back. No, it's higher than last year. Last year it was 22%. I thought I played a higher percentage of the games we owned in the year. But that could be, I'm thinking about a high percentage of games that aren't new to us games. And right now looking at this, I don't know how to filter for that. Well, duh. So that, oh yes, I did wanted to go back to that. Yes. Okay, looking at 2024, I do want to run down the list of most played games, because even though these tend to be the short, fast, light games, we had a lot of fun with them. And you might be, and there are definitely some surprises on this list, even having said that. The number one, some of you may already know this, the number one game, most played game of 2024 is the second winter edition of Carcassonne, which I ordered from a vendor in Germany, because the US publishers, for some reason, don't think this is worth putting out. I don't know what their dealio is, but I just got tired of waiting for them to put it out and ordered it from Germany. I mean, it's the same as the base game for Carcassonne, but it has different artwork. And the artwork is lovely. We like the artwork. I think that's one of the reasons why we play it. And this particular edition has a winter river. So the river is the only expansion we play with that. We have actually played that more than the regular edition of Carcassonne, which is one of my favorite games and is Robert's all-time favorite game. So yeah, we actually played this. It edged out the regular edition of Carcassonne, which came in at number 2 for most plays. And then we got another little duo here in the 3 and 4 slot, and that is Cartographer's Heroes and Cartographers, because we discovered the Cartographer's Flip and Write game this year, and we just binged it. And we're still kind of doing that a little bit, I have to admit. I mean, we've already played the Frozen Expanse map. Yes, I'm getting expansions for it. Yeah, I don't have all of the expansions, but I do have all of the maps, I think. But yeah, Cartographer's Heroes edged out Cartographers. And number 5 is Doomlings, which y'all know I love me some Doomlings. It's just a fast, light, fun card game. And number 6 is Scrabble. We play Scrabble on the wall. Each of us plays 1 letter per day. Usually first thing in the morning. That's kind of our first thing in the morning game thing, is we play our word on Scrabble. So we play 1 word per day. Did I say 1 letter per day? 1 word per day for Scrabble. And we get through a fair number of games. Last year we played, I think, 12 Scrabble games in a year, and this year we played 13. How fast they go really depends upon whether or not we're using long words or a lot of very short words. And there are sometimes on the board where it's like, and the letters we're drawing, we just cannot make long words. And if you make long words, you go through the letters in the tile bag faster. So consequently, the game, 1 per day, the game goes by faster. But yeah, we got through it a little bit faster this year. Sometimes we'll just leave when we finish it, we'll just leave it on the board for a few days. Robert wants to make sure that I've recorded the play before everything is cleared off. The game in the number 7 spot for most played is still Sea Salt and Paper. We're still playing that a fair amount. And number 8 is a new to us game. And that is Tanis. I believe this was our first year playing Tanis, which was designed by Phil Walker Harding. You are excavating tiles in a box, and this is a nifty little 2-player game. I mean, really nifty. It has just totally nailed nifty. And I have talked about it in some other videos. But Number 9 was Welcome to Collector's Edition. We still play a lot of Welcome to Flip and Write, but you can see it kind of got edged out by cartographers with all of the Flip and Write stuff. And a button shy game made the top 10, and that is Anthelion Conclave of Power. And I think the reason why it made the top 10 is because we got a bunch of expansions for it. So we played it a whole bunch of times within a very short period of time because we were trying out the different expansions and trying to have multiple plays with each expansion. Azul, which is one we just got, I think, this past fall. Yeah, Azul is already up there at number 11. Tumbling Dice is 12. Because you just can't stop throwing that dice. Once you get started playing that game, there's no point in getting that game out and setting it up unless you're going to stand there and throw dice all day, right? Tussie Mussy, the Complete Collection, which is a button shy game, but it is the Tussie Mussy button shy game with all of the expansions, including the solo expansions, and it's in a small box, a very small box, and you can get it from Barnes & Noble here in the States. So we got Tussie Mussy, the Complete Collection. Zapotec, which was a new game to us, and it is, I think, the heaviest game, possibly the longest game in terms of, like, say, the top 15, 20, something like that. It's at number 14. Christmas Movie Magic, we played a whole bunch during the Christmas season, and I talked about that in the run-up to Christmas. Donuts is a game we got around the same time as Tanis. It is an a two-player abstract strategy game designed by Bruno Catala. I'm never sure how to pronounce the TH. Jokkmokk Winter Market made the list because we've been playing that a lot. And the last game that we played 5 times or more is Spaceship, which is the only solo game in this top thing, and that is also a button shy game, one of my faves. So that kind of gives you a sort of a rundown on most played. We do tend to play a lot of light games and family weight games because they're easy to table. And sometimes because we play on weekends, we may be doing something else on the weekends too, and we have time to play smaller games. But we do occasionally throw in long or heavy games. This past weekend, in fact, we played a long, heavy game, and I will get to that, I think, in another video. There just is not time in this one. So anyhow, that's kind of a look back at this past year. I did some crowdfunding projects this past year. A lot of what I did, most of what I did, there were a couple of exceptions, and there were a couple of games that came in from the year before, but mostly this past year, I was getting button shy games on crowdfunding, and they deliver fairly quickly. I don't mean quickly like in a month or so, but I mean if you do a spring reprint campaign, then it's gonna come in the summer or the fall, and the summer reprint campaign came in the fall, and I've only got one outstanding button shy, and it's in the mail. It was one that I think that had a scheduled delivery of December, and it's going to be early January instead, and that is a nice cuppa, which is about tea. So most of what I backed this past year was button shy. I did back a few other things that were not delivered this year, but will be delivered in the coming year. So I have coming up. So we're starting to look forward to 2025. I have a few things. I backed the Canvas Big Box. I already had all of the Canvas stuff, but I discovered that since getting the expansions, the thing has just become they fit on my shelf fine in those nifty little boxes, but it's kind of become sort of a mess and a pain in the neck to get out and lay out with the different expansions and things. So I got the big box because I looked at it very carefully and I thought about it, and the way it has storage laid out is going to make setting up the game with the expansions, at least the way we do stuff, it's going to make it easier for me. because since we got all the expansions, we're not playing it so much because it's just a mess. So the big box is going to help. And I'm also getting like a mini expansion and some of the little easels, those came back into stock. The canvas thing is mostly the box. I didn't like go all in on it because I already have all the stuff. And I also backed the first game out from Dreyer Inc., BubbleNet, which is fishies and bubbles and spirals. And I am looking forward to getting that in the coming year. So that's like a mini expansion and storage for Canvas and one full game BubbleNet. And from GameFound, I backed Above and Below Haunted because we really like Above and Below. We like Red Raven Games, and Above and Below Haunted just sounded like all the stuff we love about Above and Below, but more. So yeah, that's my kind of thing. So really, in terms of Kickstarter deliveries in the coming year, there's not a whole lot out there. The storage for Canvas and the mini expansion is gonna, I believe it is already like shipped into the US and should be shipping out like in the coming weeks. And Nice Cuppa from Button Shy is already in the mail. So that's really only leaving BubbleNet and Above and Below Haunted for later in the year. But there are other things coming up for this year. I'm thinking about maybe going to a local board game convention. I'm still getting more information about it. Sort of local. It's within driving distance. And also I have got, and I'm looking at them on the back side of the table behind the camera there, a bunch of new games. There were a whole bunch of sales around Black Friday, and some of these I think I may have already mentioned are showed off, and some of these went under the tree from Santa. But yeah, in the coming weeks, I am going to be taking a look at some of the stuff we have been playing this fall that I haven't already mentioned or that we've gotten more plays in, so I'm more familiar with the games because we have been playing some very, very good stuff. And I want, instead of just running through a list of all the games that I played since the last time I talked to you and not giving you very much detail about any of them, I'd rather just wait and do like 2 or 3 games per video so that way I can crack open the box and dump all the stuff out and talk to you about our feelings about the game and how it played. We have liked. There's some good stuff here. And I mean, there's some games that I'm going like, I hope I like this, but I just don't know. And some of those I liked, and some of them were kind of still going, I don't know. But yeah, there have been some surprises in the games that we've been playing just in the past several weeks during this whole Christmas holiday season thing. And I hope that y'all have had really good holidays and that you're not all out there freezing, because it's cold. Even here, it has finally gotten cold. So yes, stay inside, stay nice and safe and warm and cozy, and pour yourself a hot beverage and play board games. Because why? It is fun. And we all need more fun in our lives. I mean, there aren't too many people whose lives are just so jam-packed wall-to-wall fun that they just can't stand to have any more fun in their lives. We need more fun. And board games are a nice little bit of fun. One other new thing coming up in the new year, which has already started, not just the new year has already started, but the new thing has already started, is I am once again making a stab at playing games on Board Game Arena. I have committed myself to it to the extent that I got a premium membership, which means that I can now start tables and games, set up games for games that fall into the premium catalog instead of being invited to those games by other people. So yeah, and I've already played a couple of games and had a lot of fun. Most recently, I played Azul, which is a game about Portuguese tiles, and I played them with people in Portugal. I'm talking, of course, about my friends over in Portugal, Christian and Joanna at Board Game Beans. Hi, y'all. And if you have not checked out their channel, I will put a link to them down below because they make really good videos. They also make really good, let's take a look at the game and how it plays and what we think about it videos. Their videos are much more polished than mine are. But yes, Board Game Arena may be a thing with me this year. We shall see. No excuses. I'm going to give it a good shot. But I have enjoyed sitting down here again for the first time in a number of weeks and talking with y'all about board games. And I hope you're having fun and that you are staying toasty warm this winter. Or if you're in the southern hemisphere where it's warm, I hope you're staying pleasantly cool. And I will see y'all next time round the table. Bye.